Hello, ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the Slips Team News. I am GJ, and I will be the news bringer for this evening. Now, the qualifiers for the upcoming Slips Rocket League tournament are well underway. The four groups are positively packed with awesome teams who are doing everything they can to earn those coveted top 2 spots. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna look through each group and see what's what, including in a little bit of Slips lore in here for your information. Now, for Group A, now I got my notes here. Having started as one of the biggest groups in the entire qualifiers, it is now witness to the biggest graveyard of teams in Slips, with both Sad Cats and Triple A D, I'm just gonna call them that, leaving the tournament before the end of qualification. Now, let's go into a little more detail here. Sad Cats lost their third in a conflict and could not rebalance their squad, so they opted to bow out. That resulted in teams given automatic wins against them. Now, as for Triple AD, they bowed out after finishing their qualification campaign after a tempestuous series against MK2. On a related note, allow me to make something clear. We here at Slips are against bullying, and we will not tolerate bullies in Slips. So please, be good to each other in Slips, alright? And on that note, let's continue on. Whilst you can bet your life savings I didn't ask to be the group leaders, I mean they are the reigning champions, an interesting battle around second place is emerging between MK2 and Only Dubs, with MK2 taking a surprise lead. Yes. And this is due to them having played more matches. But this does put the onus on Only Dubs for the first time to put points on the board to avoid dropping out of the qualification completely. Now, MK2 has the advantage that Only Dubs still need to face the group winners twice. If they can get a victory in their match against Only Dubs, they'll take one step closer to qualification. But there's still something to play for. There's something to play for between KGK and Three Stooges. Stooges have the advantage with 3 more points, but they can earn an additional 6 points both matches against KGK, whilst KGK can still determine how this group will end up by playing MK2 and Only Dubs. All in all, this is looking to be a very exciting group. Speaking of exciting groups, let's switch gears over to Group B, shall we? You can already tell that it's looking to be a positively packed, action-packed group. Now, it seems ridiculously unfair that we'll lose one of Sick, Take Flight, or Spicy Spooners, but in the most competitive group in the qualifying phase, there's a knife-edge race for the top 2 spots. Going into more detail on said race, Sick played their final match against Dynamic Esports to complete their campaign and finish on a solid 30 points. It was a win through forfeit, though, as Dynamic threw in the towel in chat earlier. Take Flight, meanwhile, have the slightly harder task. They too face Dynamic, oh yes, but also the Cold-Blooded Killers, who will want to secure 4th spot. Now going into the Spooners, they have 2 games against Dynamic Esports left. This means we could have all 3 teams, that's Sick, Take Flight, and Spicy. That's all 3 teams, we could have them tie up for 30 points. And thus we would need tiebreakers to settle the group. I, for one, am hoping for a tiebreaker of that magnitude, because that's exciting to me. Now, on to the Cold-Blooded Killers. They're in pole position to secure a best of the rest spot. For the record, the best of the rest is the tournament that will take place after the main one. So there is still hope for those who are not in first and second. Now going into the subject, while the Cold-Blooded Killers do have a chance to earn that spot, they have to deal with Fluid Esports, who know that it's still in their own hands. They still have a shot as well. They face CBK in a one-off match and bottom placed Nitro twice. Winning against CBK and polishing off Nitro will secure their place. As for Dynamic Esports, they are in the worst spot in Group B, as you can see. They will need to get some points on the board and, more importantly, get their heads on straight if they want to re-enter the conversation. They have a stack of matches to play, yes, but they have 0 points accumulated in a dismal showing. Now, let's go over the Group C and see what kind of trouble they've been causing, eh? This is already looking to be very exciting. Now, for Group C is going to be stuck in a bit of a holding pattern for good reason. Flair will not be playing any matches until next week, but Zero Empathy has stormed into a commanding lead with 0 games lost. Let's see if anyone can shake up their winning streak. They've inflicted a loss on Nickel Gamers, former champion Nickel Gamers, and have 3 games left to play. 1 is against Nickel, and the 2 remaining ones are against Flair. Otherwise, their qualification campaign is complete. Now, a bit of a note about Arctic Games. They crashed out earlier on in the qualification process, thus making this group a 5-team group and skewing the points total of the teams. Whilst the group looks incredibly close, many of them are benefiting from those 6 points they earned from an automatic win against Arctic. So don't be fooled. Their nearest challengers are Flair, who haven't really been tested. Apart from their automatic wins, they only have a solitary win against No Mercy, so anything could happen with this team. I, for one, am interested in seeing how this plays out with Flair. Next week, they'll have to hit the ground running to maintain parity with Nickel and have any chance of staying in the main tourney. So keep your eyes open for next week. Meanwhile, No Mercy have a double header against Nickel, an obligatory match against Flair, and Kinetics have Flair as their remaining matches. Now, a double header against former champion Nickel Gamers is, for any team, that's a doozy of a challenge. Now, both Flair and Kinetics know that every point counts if they want to secure their final best of the rest spot. And speaking of Nickel Gamers, I am quite sure that they're gonna want revenge for losing in the previous tournament, so you can tell that they are interested in getting said vengeance with their second place spot. Now, going into Group D, at long last, the last of the groups, a little bit of old, a little bit of new in terms of teams. It's pretty much the case with this year's tourney, this year's qualifiers. Now, Group D is the group that has yet to really get going. With the table still in its formative stages, and most teams having between 4 to 6 games left, so really, we have an average of only half of their matches complete. I say to them, get your matches in gear, good teams. I want to see you guys compete. Now, it's too early to draw any conclusions at this moment in time. But Triple Commit threatened to bow out of the tournament a few days ago, but they've gone from that scenario to finding themselves topping the group with no losses and 12 points achieved. Not bad at all. Meanwhile, the group favorites are languishing in third spot, with Team Flux being dealt a blow when they lost to the Outliers. It's early days, though, and they can bounce back from this mighty upset. Nitro Esports have played the most matches, and find themselves on equal wins and losses. They have 4 matches remaining against Team Flux, which is set to happen next week. And UMass, and they know that winning half of their remaining matches should be enough to put them in a good spot. But it remains close, and the Outliers have proven this can be anyone's group. The only known certainty is that unless Elevation somehow win all of their remaining matches, which are double headers against Flux and current group leaders Triple Commit, they'll be heading out of the tournament and out of the best of the rest for this month. So you can consider Group D to be the wild card group, so to speak. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have our 4 groups. Anything can happen between now and next week. Ladies and gentlemen, the main tournament will begin next weekend. Not this weekend, but next. And that, my friends, will be on, if I recall correctly from my little schedule here. Yes, it will be on the 23rd. The main tournament will begin on the 23rd, and the best of the rest, unless I am mistaken, will begin on the 24th. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. We'll give you a future update later on. Until then, this is GJ saying thank you for watching Slips Team News. All have a good night.